Okay, guys, time for a midday market recap. Today, unfortunately, is a red day recap. I hate having red day recaps, but it is what it is. Today's the second red day of the year in my small account challenge, day 27 of the challenge, and it's actually now the 100K challenge. So I'll show you my P&L for today. Traded 4 stocks, 3 losses, 1 winner, down $4,044.53. And this is one of those days where the fact that I was red on, 2 trades, 2 out of 3 trades in the first 30 minutes by itself was enough of an indicator not to take that fourth final trade where I lost $3,400. It was avoidable. It was avoidable in the sense that I was already having a bad day. My first trade of the day, I lost $918. I almost hit my max loss, which is $1,000. And then I bounced back up with CETX, so I was down only 400. And then I lost 100 on SKYS, so I was down 500, 550. And at that point, being down 550, I could have just as easily said, you know what, guys, it's not my day. I'm not feeling it. I'm just going to throw in the towel because the reality is, at that point, we weren't seeing good momentum. We had seen, these 3 stocks pop up on the scanner, and none of them were clean. Some of the other stocks we were watching for gap and go setups didn't open up. They weren't clean either. So this is a day where momentum just wasn't really on my side. I just didn't see strong momentum in the market. It could be because of the snowstorm. That's definitely a possibility. It's snowing here, and it's definitely snowing in New York. So less traders in the market, perhaps. Traders a little more cautious because of the weather. It's a possibility. But for whatever reason, momentum today wasn't strong. So I made 10 grand yesterday, and I gave back 4,000 today. And I'm a little frustrated with myself. The final trade on RESN is the one that is a little annoying. And why don't we just go over all the trades for today? So the day started breaking down the watch list, and I'll pull this watch list up here. Let's see, where is it? There it is. So I'll run a historical scan on this for 9 a.m. And at 9 a.m., we could see that we had a few stocks gapping up. We had SKYS, we had jagex, we had RELV, AEHR down here. So, there were a few stocks gapping up, and I was like, okay, well, let's start breaking them down. SKYS, it had news pre-market. Actually, it had news after hours, which I never like as much as news pre-market. The news on this one was after hours, right here, started to spike up. This morning, pulled back just a little bit. I got in as soon as the bell rang. I got in actually on the 1-minute chart. Pull back the 1 minute. Let's see. I got in this, let's see, this candle here, expecting a pop up to 55, 7,500 shares. We popped up to a high of 60, and then we pulled back, dropped down to 30, and then down to 25. Ended up stopping out of AEHR with a $918 loss. It was a decent setup. It just didn't hold. Next trade was CETX. This one was on the high day Momo scanner. Squeezed up right out of the gates. I got in at 710. Squeezed up to a high of 750. I had 10,000 shares. I was up $4,000, but next candle it came all the way down to 684. Ended up only making 6 cents. Pretty disappointing on that one. It couldn't hold that level. Next on the scanner, we had SKYS. SKYS. This one, when I took it, let me go back here. I was confusing this one. This one I lost. I didn't lose 600 on. I lost $100 on this one. I got in with 5,000 shares. Let's see, where is it? Right here. I got in with 5,000 shares. We popped up, dropped back down, and I stopped out for a 2-cent loss. So that loss was small. AEHR out of the gates is the one that I lost $900 on. This one I got in here thinking it would break over the $0.50 as soon as the market opened, and it just instantly rolled over. And it happened so fast I didn't have a lot of time to think. Now, the trade that really got me, CETX, this was fine, whatever, small trade. But the one that really got me was RESN. This one was on the high day momentum scanner. Let's see, where is it? RESN, right here around, 473. So I saw it on the scanner and I was like, okay, this looks good. I pull up the level 2 here and I saw a 40,000 share seller sitting at 475. And I was like, okay, if that guy can move out of the way, I'll jump in. All of a sudden, he's gone and it pops up to 496, $5. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll get in on the 1 minute pullback. It pulls back for a second, and I got in with 10,000 shares at $5, and I added another 2,500 shares, which gave me 12,500. Popped up to 509, and then in this candle right here, it dropped all the way down to 468. I was down like $4,000, and it happened like that. It was just instantly went the wrong way, went all the way back to where it came from. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, this is obviously going to be, this is probably going to be a loser. This doesn't look like it's going to be a good trade. My best trades work instantly. My worst trades go against me instantly. And this one, pretty much went against me instantly. So I knew the odds of it being a winner were slim to none, and I had to manage the loss. So it dropped down to 68, and I said, all right, well, there's two options here. One is if I had a live stop order, a live order on this trade, I would have marketed out of that position with 12,500 shares, and I probably would have gotten filled at the very bottom at 68. Maybe it would have dropped lower to 65 or even 55. So that would have amplified the loss, but it would have gotten me out of the trade instantly. So pros and cons. Now, instead, I was like, okay, let's just give this a second. Let's see if it pops back up. And it did pop back up. It actually popped all the way back up to a high of 96. But that was 96 on the ask. And on the candle where it went up to a high of 96, we only had 20,000 shares of volume. I couldn't sell on the ask at 96. There weren't enough buyers. So, it was 96 on the ask, but it was like 80 on the bid, big spreads. And I said, all right, well, I'll give this a chance, because on the 5-minute chart, it was consolidating. This was consolidation above the 9 moving average. And so I thought, if I was looking at this stock now for the very first time, I would look at this and see consolidation above the moving average. And I'd be thinking, this is good for a possible move up over the whole dollar if it can break 5. So I thought if we broke 5, we would pretty quickly get back to 510 and up to high a day. And so I ended up holding through this entire consolidation, thinking maybe we would get a break over 5. I wasn't sure, but maybe. Maybe other traders would notice this and see the setup. It ended up dropping down here, and as we broke 80, I stopped out and was out at the bottom of that candle right there. So, and literally the bottom of that candle is 65, and the bottom of my fill is 65. So, that's of course, the frustrating part with trading with size. Yesterday, I had a great day, $10,000, and today is the other side of that coin. You trade with big size, and you either have big winners or big losers. What could I have done to minimize this trade? There was an opportunity where I saw a 10,000 share bid at 86. That was somewhere around 10:50 in the morning, and I could have hit the bid there. But at that point, I was starting to think, look, this is curling back up. It looks like it might get back over $5. And I did have a trade last month on DFFN, kind of like this, where I got in too high, I dropped down, held through the consolidation, ended up going back to high a day and selling for a profit. So I was kind of like, all right, obviously I got in this. I wasn't expecting it to drop like as much as it did, but I'll see this through. If it ends up going down, I'm going to go down with the ship. And if it ends up going back up, I'll end up having a winner. So that was pretty much the situation on this one. And fortunately, it popped up and dropped down. And I really don't know why it did that, why it popped so fiercely over 475. I thought because of the way it popped there that it would really continue on for the next move up, and it just didn't. So, that's the luck of the draw, I suppose. Maybe today wasn't the right day to be that aggressive. Um, Obviously, I wasn't having a very good day already on my first three trades. So I think I could have been a little bit more mindful of that and said, you know what? You're red on the day. You don't have a profit cushion on the day. Use smaller size if you're going to take trades. Be very selective about the quality. And I think maybe there was a part of me that was a little frustrated. I was red and wanted to get in a trade, get a quick winner, bounce back up into the green. And, 12,000 shares, if it had gone 20 cents, it would have been a nice winner. It would have been, 2,000 bucks, 2,500 bucks, and definitely put me into the green. I thought it had that potential, but obviously there weren't enough buyers interested and ended up selling off. Today we didn't really see any good momentum trades on anything. There's not a trade that I missed while I was focused on this one. There really wasn't any clean momentum today. jagex, that was on the scanners. It's starting to pop up a little bit now, but sold off out of the gates. ETRM, it was gapping up. It was on the scanners. But this one sold off out of the gates. So, today just wasn't the day. And I think that one thing you'll notice is that when the market is hot, lots of other stocks start to get momentum, sympathy momentum, because traders kind of jump from one to the next, looking for the next opportunity. And when the market is sort of weak, you have a few stocks really pulling things down. Traders get a little more hesitant, a little more cautious, and when stocks do start to pop up, they don't get as much follow through because not as many people are really willing to test the waters. And today that was pretty evident. So I think I could have closed today just down 500 and not taken that final trade. In hindsight, I obviously wish I had done that, but at the same time, it was the right type of setup and the right type of stock that had the potential to give us a 20, 30, 40 cent move, especially over the whole dollar of five. It just, for whatever reason, got rejected at that level. So, here's the deal. If my accuracy is 65, 70%, today's just one of those days where I'm paying my dues, taking the loss. So, that's a tick against the 40% loss rate that I'm kind of allocating for myself. And everything I've had so far up in this week has been part of the 65% or 70%, whatever it is. This is my second red day of the 100K challenge. So in 27 days, I've had two red days and 25 green days. So, I can live with that. My other red day was 5,500. So obviously the red days are not fun. They're bad, lost 9,000 between those 2 days, but I'll still be up right around $41,000 or $51,000 in this account. So, I'm not going to get flustered. I'm not really that annoyed. I was feeling a little frustrated because I just kind of kept coming up short on everything today. It felt like none of the trades I took today worked. AEHR didn't work. CETX, I was up $4,000 and it sold off and it only made 600 bucks. That is not a good trade. RESN, I was up 1,200, turned into a $3,400 loss. Not a good trade. SKYS, I was up 500, turned into a $100 loss. Not a good trade. Not a good trade, not because of really any fault of my own, but just because we didn't get follow through in the market. I stepped up to the plate. I stood tall. I took the big size between 5,000 on my smallest position and 12,500 on my biggest. And today's just one of those days where the market wasn't on my side. So at this point right now, some traders would continue to trade. They'd say, look, I'm down $4,000, but I want to get back out of the hole. I want to get back to break even on the day. I'm not going to do that. I'm done for the day. I'm not going to keep trading today. The market is, at this point, I can definitively say the market is not on my side. So I'm not going to trade again today. I'll come back tomorrow. And tomorrow I will step up to the plate. If we have some good setups, I'll be aggressive. And I know that I can make $2,500, $3,500 on a good trade, maybe more. And I could do that 2 or 3 times and have a $7,500 day. That may or may not happen tomorrow. I don't know. But I know that when the market is on my side, I can do really well. So I just kind of have to, sit tight, kind of weather through the storm, not push it, wait, be patient. When good opportunities present themselves, I'll be able to step in, be aggressive, pull out my buying power, take some big size, lock up some big wins. My account will jump forward, and then when the next slow period comes, I just got to again step back, ease off the throttle, wait, consolidate. When we get a good setup, get in, be aggressive, and that's how my account will grow. So, this week I'm up $8,000. I was up 12,000, and then I pulled back just a little bit. So if you think about that, think of 4 steps up, and or three steps up and then 1 step back. That's kind of what we're looking at. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1 step back. This is kind of forming the bull flag, right, of consolidation in my account. I don't want to let it go back down further. I want to kind of sit at this level. If I can start to get a little bit of a gain, a little bit of a $500,000 cushion tomorrow morning right out of the gates, I can use that to leverage myself up to, put that on the line for a $2,000, $3,000 winner, get myself up to break even, and then surge back through the highs if we have good trading. If we don't have good opportunities, then I'll just have to kind of continue to stabilize underneath my highs and sit tight and be smart. If I'll keep my $1,000 max loss tomorrow. I'll be more mindful tomorrow if I go into the red right away that the market may still be kind of in a funk. I might not have clean momentum, and maybe Friday won't be the day to really push it. I'll just kind of play it by ear. We'll see what the market looks like tomorrow morning. We'll see what the gap scanner looks like. We'll see how the gappers trade in the first 5 minutes. Do we get good resolution? Do we get breakouts, or is it choppy? And that's pretty much the game plan, is trade smart. So today's a red day, but I don't feel like I really broke any rules. I think that I've got the breakout or bailout mentality, which I talk about a lot. If a trade doesn't work immediately, get out. But when a stock drops from 97 to 68 in a 1-minute candle, you don't have a lot of time to think. You're instantly down, and now you have to manage the loss and get yourself out of it. And sometimes you have to unwind the position. When you've got 12,500 shares, you don't always want to press that market button to sell the whole thing. That is what I ended up doing on this candle. I just sold the whole thing in one punch. I said, that's it, I'm done. Got me out lower, 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 60, 72, 71, 68, 65. But I felt at that point the ship was going down, so I would just take the loss. But remember, guys, anytime you have a loss, it's an opportunity to learn. You can learn. You can improve your strategy. You can make adjustments. So hopefully that won't happen again in the future. But at the same time, even the best traders are only right 65, 70% of the time. That means you're going to have losing trades possibly every single day. For the rest of your career as a trader, you'll have a losing trade almost every day. As long as you have more winners than losers at the rate of 70%, you'll be fine. So it's not that every single loss is going to give you a big teaching moment. Sometimes it's just like, well, I did everything I'm supposed to do, and today the market just wasn't on my side. I don't know what else to say. And you kind of become desensitized. It's just like, yesterday I made 10 grand. I didn't care, really. I didn't do anything special. Today I'm down 4 grand. I don't care. I'm not going to do anything drastic. I'm not going to go, sit in the corner and cry. I mean, I really don't care. The day I lost 13 grand, I was pretty upset. I was frustrated myself because that was the biggest loss I'd had in a long time. And I was frustrated not just with the money loss, but because it set me back a couple of big steps in my small account. It was really the frustration of having built up all of this and then taken that giant step backwards. But by the end of the week, I was further ahead than the day before I had the loss. So, I bounced back from it, and I'll bounce back from this. I mean, I will 100%. Might not be tomorrow that I make back the whole 4,000. Might not be Monday. Might not be Tuesday. But I will get back. And when we have good opportunities, I'll step up. I'll be aggressive. And yesterday, or what was it, Tuesday maybe, on MYOS, in one trade I made 2,800 bucks, and I only had 6,000 shares. I wasn't even being that aggressive on it, and still had a great win. So that's what I want to look for, that clean 5-minute setup. This wasn't the cleanest, but that's what I need to look for, the clean 5-minute setup on a day when we have strong momentum, on potentially a former runner. So um, that's the game plan, and I'm hoping that, of course, we see some good opportunities tomorrow, and that we continue to see at least a few really good opportunities each week. I don't want to have to go into a slump where we have weeks of back-to-back slow trading where there's no good gappers and there's no momentum. I mean, I really hope that doesn't happen, but um, I think today is just a slow day, maybe the weather, and it's just a rest day. We have those, we have kind of rest days where we've had really hot momentum and then you kind of have a rest day. And then the next day, you've got breaking news on a stock and traders jump in. They're like, okay, I'm back at it. Let's make this happen. And you get the big move. So maybe we'll have that tomorrow. We've had some good trades on Fridays. MYOS is actually a stock that has had a history of making big moves on Fridays. This was last Friday, the 3rd. This was Friday, the 11th. So maybe keep this one on watch. MYOS tomorrow. Today's high is 430. So first daily candle to make a new high. Maybe move over 530 up to 550.48. I'll put it on my list. I'll just write it down. MYOS. We'll see. I'm not sure, but it'll be worth keeping an eye on. It's a former runner, so it's always worth watching. DFFN. This one was on the scans. Not looking good anymore. Below the 200. Too weak. APOP. This one, I'm not into it anymore. Big red candle on the daily. So former runner there, but not looking good. ETRM is too weak. So may just be maybe a slow day tomorrow, but we'll play it by ear. We'll see what we have in the morning for scanners, or for gappers on the scanners. All right, guys. So I will be putting together a watch list tomorrow morning, right around 9 a.m. in the chat room. And remember, this afternoon, 4 p.m., we've got a Warrior Pro mentor session for our students. So we've got that today. And any questions, feel free to leave them on YouTube or in the Facebook comments. And I'd love to have you guys subscribe to the channel and watch whenever we do these updates. So midday market recaps, 12 noon, pretty much every day, unless for some reason I'm not trading that day. And then I upload to YouTube and to the podcast in the afternoon. All right, guys. Which headphone am I using? This is that's a good question. It's a G933. I think it's a Logitech. This is the second Logitech I've had, and I like it. The only thing I don't like is that like right now I'm talking to you guys. If I unplug this because I don't have any audio, it'll turn itself off after like 2 minutes. It's like battery saving. But the problem is I don't usually listen to audio. I'm usually just using the mic. So it's extremely annoying that I basically always have to keep this plugged in. Or I can put on music and turn it down really low, which I sometimes do. But my last one didn't do that. But my last one, after like 2 years, broke. So anyways, yeah, this is a good headset. I like it. It's pretty comfortable. It's a little tight on my glasses, and sometimes I put it like this to sort of be able to also hear what's going on around me. But I have a mic also. I've got a freestanding mic right here. This is one of the Yeti mics. But this one, I don't know. You guys were saying that it didn't sound as good, and so I switched to this one that I'm wearing. I don't know. I think maybe the audio was a little tinny or a little echoey. I'm not really sure, but you guys gave me that feedback, so I switched. I use that one when I'm recording live trading on my other laptop. So I'll run the screen recorder, sometimes record some live trading, upload that to the Warrior Pro classes for students, and it's on that mic, but it's not a huge difference. You guys can see on my midday market recap from Tuesday where I was live trading, and you might be able to notice the two different headsets that I was using on that day. Let's see, I'll give you guys the link to that video. That was, let's see, live trading day 25. I think it was day 25. And, you know, today even my internet's been a little slow, which is probably the storm, but you have to be a little careful when you don't have ideal trading conditions because, you know, just you run the risk of giving back profit, having a mistake, not being able to get a hold of your broker, phone line goes down, whatever. So let's see. There's the link to live trading on MYOS where I was using my two headsets. So you can see at the beginning of that video, I recorded my live trading, and that was just such a clean setup. I mean, I was pumped to be able to put that on on YouTube. Let's see. So, and for those of you watching on Facebook, I'm going to log in here and put that link on. So Anthony, any tips for getting into day trading for the first time? That's a good question. I would say the thing that I wish someone had told me, you know, when I first told people I was interested in day trading, they were like, that sounds really stupid. You know, it sounds really risky, like sounds like gambling. Like, what are you really wanting? Like, really? Like, why don't you just get a regular job? And, you know, to me, I was like, look, there's people doing this. There are people making a lot of money day trading. It's a thing. There's a lot of, you know, misconceptions about it. People don't know a whole lot about day trading in general, maybe especially in kind of rural Vermont. But, you know, I felt like it was a thing and I could figure it out. Other people are doing it. I can do it. The problem for me is that I jumped in with real money right away. And that was the big mistake. I just jumped into the market with real money and I promptly lost $30,000. And then at that point, I felt like, you know, I was in too far to walk away and to give up. You know, so I was like, all right, well, now I got to stick with it. And the thing is, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was hooked. I was like, this is really cool. But for a beginner trader, you don't want to get yourself into that type of situation where now you feel like I can't walk away because I'm in too deep. Because there are traders that are going to come in, take some classes, read some books, try it out in the simulator, and then be like, you know what, this is too stressful. It's not for me. No harm, no foul. I mean, that's fine. I could go take a class in chainsawing or welding, and yeah, I spend the money, take the class, buy a chainsaw, test it out, and I say, you know what, this isn't for me. That's okay. It's a life experience. But, you know, once you've gotten into it really deep, it can be hard to emotionally walk away. So I would recommend, you know, starting with reading. You know, I've got a book on Amazon, How to Day Trade. You could definitely check that out. You know, reading books, maybe taking a class if you're at that level. If you start trading with real money, well, if you want to start trading and actually, you know, practicing, trade in the simulator, so it's virtual money. We have all of our students on Fantasy Stock Trading Simulator, $100,000 virtual currency. So gets you the opportunity to practice, make those beginner mistakes, make the rookie mistakes in a safe environment where, you know, you're not losing real money. I mean, yesterday we lost data for like just a split second, but it caused some traders, as they lost their data connection, to panic and start pressing hotkeys. Well, you know what? Sometimes I lose my data connection on my live platform, and you don't want to send out a bunch of orders when you think you're disconnected, because when you reconnect, all those orders are going to send at once. And all of a sudden, you sent out 30 sell orders and you're now short 15,000 shares. I mean, you got to practice that in the simulator. Practice it, because when it happens with real money, you want to make sure you know what to do. You know, and so that's just one example, and there's a million examples. But practicing is the most important thing. And learning to trade like anything else. I mean, you have to be disciplined, you have to be driven, dedicated. But if you study, if you practice, if you follow the rules of the strategy, then you're positioning yourself to be a successful trader. It's not going to happen for everybody, but you're doing everything you can to, set yourself up for success. The problem for most traders is that they actually set themselves up for failure by jumping into the market with real money when they really have no skill and no training. I set myself up for failure by doing that, and I'm just, I suppose, fortunate that I was able to lose 30 grand and keep trading. And actually, this week when I sent my wire transfer to Speed Trader to set up my new account, I felt a little like nostalgic. I felt a little sad because I was thinking like, man, it's been a really long time since I had to send a wire transfer to like add money to an account. And it started bringing back these memories of, when I was a beginner trader and it felt like once a week I was having to add 500 to get myself up above the PDT level, or add 1,000, or, take money out of like my 401k to pay the penalty to put it into my trading account. And it's like every time I would do that, as I sent that wire and signed the form, I would just feel this little bit of like, am I going to get it? Am I going to get over this hurdle? And I did. I mean, ultimately I did. But yeah, it brought back some memories as I was getting the new Speed Trader account set up on whatever it was, Monday afternoon or Tuesday afternoon. So in any case, having been there and gone through that, I don't want you guys to have to go through that. That's why I really encourage you to practice before you go live. And then when you go live, you have to realize you trade with small size, and as you get into the market going live, you go in with a game plan. You've got your trading plan, your written plan based on, what we're teaching you in the classes. So the type of stocks to trade, when to get in, when to get out, where to set your stops, where to set your profit targets. All you have to do, your job now is just to find 3 stocks to trade each day. And for me, on a good day like yesterday, I trade 4 stocks, make $10,000. I'm in, I'm out, I'm done. Today's a day where took 4 trades, lost 4 grand, but it's the same kind of thing. I'm in, I'm out, I'm done. It either works or it doesn't work, but over the years, your experience will increase and you'll get better at choosing good quality setups. So when I look at a student's trading records and they've got their average winners are $100 and their average losers are $50, but their accuracy is only 40%. I tell them, this looks awesome. This looks awesome because you're managing risk. You've got the profit loss ratio. The only thing you're lacking is accuracy. But guess what? Accuracy gets better with practice. So you keep practicing, you keep doing exactly what you're doing right now. Let's look at it again next month. And sure enough, most traders go 30%. A lot of traders start in the 30s, 30% accuracy. It's one of those things you think with like flipping a coin. You keep flipping a coin, it's going to be, what, 50-50, right? I mean, you've got only 2 sides. It's the same with trading. You either win, you lose. So you would think if you just blindly trade, you'd be 50-50, but it's not like that. Most traders are on their own as very beginners are like 30%. And then we work up from there, 30, 40, 50. And then once you get into 55, 65% success, you're at a point that you're most likely going to be profitable in the simulator. And that's when you can start thinking about transitioning to real money. But you don't want to do it until you've got those metrics. A lot of beginner traders, they don't even know what their metrics are. They don't know what their profit loss ratios are. They don't know what their accuracy is. So it's no wonder that they end up losing money. I mean, they don't have a business plan. You're basically investing $25,000 into your own business when you fund that account, or however, even if it's only $1,000. So if you don't have a plan, then if you don't know your metrics, you don't know your profits, you're probably going to go out of business. All right. So yeah, Leo. So accuracy is important, but risk management is more important. Accuracy is second because accuracy will always get better with practice. And I'm, an example of that. My accuracy has gotten more and more, just improved more and more. My intuition has gotten better when a stock's going to work, when it's not going to work. Doesn't mean I don't make mistakes, but that all gets better with practice. Risk management is something that you need to just, really hammer in early on. All right, guys. So with that, I will call it a day here and shut it down. Platform's going to be turned off. I'll start it over tomorrow, back at 51,000. So a little bit of a step back, but I'll bounce back from it. Hopefully we've got some good opportunities, something I can really sink my teeth into. But if not, then, maybe you'll just go into the weekend kind of slow and hopefully bounce back next week. All right, guys, I will see you all first thing tomorrow morning.
Let's be honest. If you made it this far, you must have really enjoyed that video. So what's stopping you? Subscribe right here and get email alerts anytime I upload new content. Until then, happy surfing!